In Lies of P, deception and misdirection were the primary tools used by those who pulled the strings. Nothing was as it seemed, and nobody was quite who they portrayed themselves to be. Although these tactics were incredibly successful in leading us astray in our search for answers, sometimes the best lies are those that are hidden in plain sight. But before we unveil the darkest secrets of Krat, it's time to give credit where it's due. Kudos to Edgy Dream 681 for locating the Easter egg in the previous thumbnail. If you look closely, you'll see the Far East Princess record in the top right hand side of the border. If you're new to the channel, I've started playing a game with viewers where I hide an Easter egg in the thumbnail of each of my videos. The first person to state what and where it is in the comments gets a shout out in the following video. Now, back to the matter at hand. From the very start of Lies of P, Geppetto's puppet was a victim of his naivety. Within seconds of his first moments of life, he was merely inches away from the dark fate that awaited him. None the wiser, he would move blindly towards the voice that called out to him, unaware that every step he took was being guided from the shadows. That's right, Geppetto's box that was used to contain the nameless puppet was right next to his alleged beloved son the entire time. I've mentioned this before, but the word Krat is Dutch for box, crate, or container. It seems that the entire city had been mocking us from the moment we believed we took control. Looking back with this in mind, one can truly see that Geppetto was truly a twisted man that regarded his greatest creation as nothing more than a vessel to resurrect the undead body of his real son. It's clear that he never loved the puppet, but rather that which the puppet could give him, a second chance. Speaking of a second chance, you may well know the puppets were able to communicate in a unique language. Only by obtaining the completed Ergo Wavelength Decoder in New Game Plus could you clearly see their desperate pleas for help. The Puppet King had sent numerous envoys in the form of boss puppets that Geppetto's puppet dispatched without so much as a thought. In retrospect, this revelation of the King's secret message to identify their shared threat and Geppetto's hidden agenda was just heartbreaking. The Puppet King was so eager to share this message that upon his first meeting with Geppetto's puppet, he put on a performance that foretold the events that would transpire if he willingly sacrificed his heart to his creator. This is yet another testament to the masterful storytelling in Lies of P. Often, the best tales can be woven through an intricate series of unspoken events. It's up to the player to have a keen eye and determine how each piece of the puzzle fits together. Although it was never explicitly stated in-game, the true identity of Geppetto's puppet wasn't quite as clear as one might expect. Remember, in the city of Krat, nothing is as it seems. There were numerous clues that hinted towards his ties to Pinocchio, and my favorite was none other than the shadow projected by the puppet's nose. The shadow's length served as a secret method to measure one's humanity. The more humanity, the longer the shadow. This particular anomaly could only be seen through the light of the giant stargazer inside Hotel Krat. No other light source could produce similar results. This revelation, paired with the fairy tale crossover featuring Dorothy from The Wizard of Oz in the post-credits scene, demonstrated how one's identity wasn't restricted to a single character. In fact, the one you call Pinocchio in this adventure may very well be the Tin Man in another. Andreas the Archbishop wasn't immune to the lustful promises of greed. In fact, his desire for power and money led to his eventual transformation into a grotesque beast. This one-winged angel deserves a dedicated video of its own, and will see the light of day soon, I assure you. If you recall, the first time the Archbishop's monstrous form is partially revealed is in the organ room just past the main entrance. Careful observers will notice that along the floor was a trail of blue slime. Those curious enough to follow this trail will notice that it takes an interesting detour that leads directly to a large monument of Saint Frangelico. It's almost as if the holy man made one last attempt at forgiveness before renouncing his faith and retreating to his delusions in the darkness. The real boy ending shows the extent of Geppetto's deranged mind. Not only did he forcefully remove the heart of the one he called his son throughout the entire ordeal, but after resurrecting his boy Carlo, he ordered him to eradicate any survivors at Hotel Krat to remove any trace of his misdeeds, and then went on to reimagine the city of Krat and its population through the disturbing lens of an old fairy tale. Each and every one of the allies Geppetto's puppet had made along the way were blithely replaced with mindless puppets who knew only to serve the one they referred to as Lord Carlo. And they all lived happily ever after in the twisted mind of the puppet master and his son, the real boy. Giangio was not quite the defenseless coward he portrayed himself to be. The post-credit scene revealed a calm, cool, and collected version of the pale pharmacist we had never seen before. But did you know that he was armed the entire time he stood alone in that storage room? Closer inspection of his umbrella reveals that it was an exact replica of Etiquette, a uniquely designed weapon that was meant to look like an inconspicuous parasol. It seems he truly had a fascination with the letter P. Interestingly enough, the Korean word for blood sounds quite similar to how we pronounce P in English. Who do the titular lies belong to? Is it Pinocchio, Paracelsus himself, or the blood in which they were written? Of all the incredible discoveries I've shared with you thus far, my absolute favorite takes the form of a simple paperclip. Did you know that each of the loading screens are screenshots of Paracelsus' case notes for the Krat experiment? Every single one of the images are photos taken from a dossier, complete with his personalized notes, thoughts, and even doodles. It seems that even Giangio noticed the similarities between Lady Dimitrescu and the statue at the Krat Central Station lobby. Or perhaps, just like Paracelsus, I'm as mad as a hatter. As one final bonus detail, I wanted to share that once Sophia was released from the mortal coil, her influence on time was impacted in a very big way. Regardless of where Geppetto's puppet teleports, the time at every destination is unknown. This distortion of time and space can quite literally be the reason why fairy tale realities, for lack of a better term, have begun to converge upon themselves, allowing for any number of cameos and crossovers from classical literature to make an appearance. Where do you think the DLC will lead us next? I believe we'll be heading towards the Antarctic, where an old friend named Victor searches for an abomination of his own design. And that's all for this video. If you enjoyed it, be sure to like and subscribe. It lets me know you want more content just like this. Click on these videos on screen to continue your journey through Krat, and I'll be there to guide you when you arrive. Consider becoming a member for exclusive perks like emojis, members-only videos, and more. Or check out my Ko-fi or Patreon page if you want to support me in a more personal way. Until next time, it's the Inhuman One, signing out. Join the Inhuman community today.